Welcome back to the Schmozone podcast, episode number 86. I'm Dave Schmulenson, a.k.a. The Schmo. My co-host is...
Helen Yee with Helen Yee Sports.
And our guest today, long overdue, Paulie Malignaggi, a little jet-lagged over here, flying in from Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida. Got in early this morning, but we're making it happen. We're making it happen. Long overdue on the show.
That's right, man. And now, Paulie Malignaggi, two-time boxing champion right over here. We really appreciate you. Some of our favorite interviews, right, Helen?
Yeah, we were just talking about, remember that one time in New York, we were eating pizza?
Helen Beast, Bomani Gardens.
Yeah.
The best.
Amazing pizza. But so busy.
It's world famous.
It is world famous.
Yeah. Bomani Gardens.
I know.
But Penn Center has a lot of famous pizza. We have Lenny's Pizza from the movie Saturday Night Fever. It's still there as well. Okay. Lenny's Pizza. So New York has well-known pizza spots, the Farahs, and all apologies to everybody else. Grimaldi, we have Lucali, we have a bunch of stuff. We have crispy pizza. I'm losing. I don't want to offend anyone I forgot, but we got too many good pizza spots in New York.
I could tell you're hungry. But hey, if you want pizza here in Vegas, though, there's a Helen Yee Pizza.
Is there?
Yeah,
where?
At Naked City Pizza. Shout out to Naked City Pizza.
There's a Helen Yee slice, and what's on it?
Yeah, it's... Don't hate me, okay?
Wait, don't tell me it's pineapple. Don't do it.
Oh, hell
don't
no.
do it.
No,
I can never do pineapple on a
pizza.
pizza.
All right.
It's French fries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a heart attack. It's a heart attack. Pizza,
exactly.
French fries.
French fries, sausage, pepperoni.
It is a heart attack.
Yeah.
It does sound good, though. Yo, I've seen... in Sicily, they're starting to get creative with these slices too. I've seen French fries on pizza in Sicily too.
It's good.
She's a trendsetter.
It's like two meals in one.
It really, yeah. You don't even have to have the fries on the side. Just get it right direct.
Exactly. But
full meal.
Yes, full meal and full boxing weekend.
And the heart attack for dessert. Who's go?
Yeah.
You're right. Can't argue with that.
No.
For sure. So you're in town. We ran into you at the official weigh-ins for Devin Haney, Jojo Diaz. I look over my shoulder. Helen pointed you out.
I was like, Paulie. And David's like, where? And I'm like,
fresh
he's
from the
right
airport.
there. Oh, that's when you...
No, we went to breakfast first and then we came out right to the weigh-in.
Okay, pizza for breakfast?
No. Had an omelet.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Then I did a lot of talking, a lot of coffee. It woke me up. And we just went on the bread to the weigh-in.
Yeah. So what'd you think? Because didn't Montana Love bring a dog
To the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
That was pretty
interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
A little different. I'll call it a little different. But Montana can fight, so I can't knock anything else he's gonna do, because you know what? I've seen him fight. I was very impressed with his win over Ivan Baranchik, his last fight he had. So I guess the dog is, speaking of trend setting, maybe he's setting the new trend too. You know.
That's right. I don't know if this podcast is gonna be released before or after the Haney Jojo Diaz fight, but I'm looking at Devin Haney. He's got his own hype, man. Like, it reminds you of the Ali days too. The guy suited up.
Run DMC.
He makes the Schmo look underdressed at these events.
Yeah. He's like a modern day Bondini Brown. A little bit of a hype man type of image. But you know what? Haney's very promotable. You know, he's done a good job of getting his name out there. He's done a good job of getting people to talk about him. He's been doing nothing but winning. So I guess you add the little theatrics as well. You know, you can never go wrong when you keep people talking. So one way or the other, it can't be a bad thing.
And the champion, George Kambosas Jr., he's here. Mm-hmm. Did you run into him today?
Yeah. We spoke to him as well with my guys at BlueMoonFight.tv. George is, doing his little victory tour now, and he's obviously in town to possibly assess the winner and, maybe take on the winner. I think, he surprised a lot of people. He shocked a lot of people, but a well-earned win. I hope that his team is capable of getting him a home defense he's got the undisputed title. He deserves it. Of course, that is depending on this variant closings and whatnot, because that could also be an issue. But that could be an issue in general. I don't necessarily think that can be an issue just in the States, because I'm hearing that the Golovkin-Ryota Murata fight might be canceled in Japan.
Yeah,
so
I heard that.
So I don't know, but I do think Kambosos would be well deserving of a home country defense after a win like that. Of course, I think the way that Australia sounds today, I don't know if this is politically incorrect, but you might as well go to jail being in Australia is like being in Alcatraz right now. From what I hear,
it's tough. I don't see how they can make that happen over there.
Yeah, it would be a shame, but we'll see.
But on paper, though, obviously, because this podcast might not come out till after the results of the Haney-Diaz and maybe even the Gervonta Davis against Cruz.
Which you'll be there, too, on Sunday.
Yep.
Like, on paper, who's the most deserving lightweight, or do you think these fights this weekend, one of the winners here plays a part in that?
I don't know if there's a more deserving lightweight, but I think that Gervonta would probably get the most people talking. If he's able to get by Cruz. Cruz is a dynamic, explosive fighter himself, so I think that's going to be a short, explosive fight one way or the other. Obviously, you favor Gervonta, but, Gervonta doesn't shy away from a good exchange as well, so Cruz also can punch a little bit, and he's pretty explosive. So let's say Gervonta wins for argument's sake. I think he's probably the one that gets people talking the most. He's a more action fighter than Haney. Haney's a good fighter, and Haney's very capable of beating Kambosos. I'm not saying he's not. Or not that he's more deserving or anything, or less deserving or anything. But I think Gervonta sells more. He's kind of a little bit higher on the pedestal. And so if Gervonta wins, let's say Haney and Gervonta win, the two favorites for the weekend. Let's say that happens. I'd like to see Gervonta get the shot at Kambosos first, if Gervonta can make lightweight, because I don't know what he's doing in terms of weight classes anymore. Haney's very capable as well. We'll see. Jojo Diaz is an ex-Olympian, so we can't underrate him as well. I don't know. Kambosos has got a lot of options once he's got that win. It was a win that nobody was expecting, and I think once he's got it now, I think he's realizing the amount of attention he's getting, and everybody's going to be calling him out. So he's going to have no shortage of opposition options, and especially in a weight class that has a lot of people talking right now.
Well, were you surprised that he won?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I rated Teofimo Lopez. I still rate him. I just think, got to give Kambosos credit, but I also think that Lopez, at least from a psychological point of view, didn't come the same way he came with Lomachenko. With Lomachenko, he understood the importance of setting up the power and really boxed very well, and had a real mentality of a hungry fighter who knew he was up against a very difficult opponent. I felt like he just came into the fight with Kambosos like, I'm just going to take this guy out. I can do it when I want to. And it was almost a lack of respect, really. Especially the way he came out in the first round. It was just throwing all that kinds of power without even setting it up. I don't know what he thought he was going to go into, but, it didn't work out that way. And Kambosos, who was a capable top-level fighter, took advantage naturally. At this level, this is what's going to happen to you. So I was definitely surprised at the outcome, and that's not a disrespect to Kambosos, who's a very good fighter, but I rated Lopez as the best guy in the weight class. So for me, I was surprised.
A couple months ago, he was sitting in that very seat. Him and his father were in this podcast. It was on the date, the podcast, when they were supposed to originally be fighting before everything got postponed. Not originally fighting, but the last fight. I think the fight got rebooked 8 different times. He had a lot on his shoulders, and it felt like there was so much, the weight of the world was on him, and it was completely different because when he was fighting the Lomachenko fight, it's like he's fighting with house money. He's got momentum. He's got nothing to lose. He's going up against Lomachenko, the pound-for-pound best, and then he gets the win, and it feels like he's been dealing with so much stuff between the purse bid and the issues with Top Rank and then going with Triller and then leaving Triller and then ending up going on to Zone. It just seemed like he had so much baggage outside of the fight that was weighing in on him during the fight.
And sometimes the challenges outside the ring are just as important and just as difficult to deal with as the ones inside the ring. People don't always understand that. They don't always realize that. But, part of being a champion is dealing with that. Dealing with, this newfound fame. Dealing with the pitfalls that come with the newfound fame and the business part of the sport and whatnot. So, it's part of the game, man. You still have to come prepared, especially when you are at that position. You are the guy everybody's gunning for. When you have to defend that, you have to defend your position, and you have to prepare adequately. not to say that he didn't, but Kambosos was the more ready fighter, and that's why he's the undisputed lightweight champion of the world right now.
Yesterday, I interviewed George, and he told me he beat the man who beat the man in reference to Lomachenko. So if you're Lomachenko, what do you need to do to kind of get in those talks for that title shot?
At this point, it's a political game. Lomachenko's the top rank, and I don't know which direction Kambosos is going to go. I've been with DeBell Entertainment, who has Kambosos. They don't really have dates, so, I think it's up in the air. But I think Eddie Hearn has kind of lured in the opportunity to get Kambosos to fight the winner of Haney and Diaz. So the way it looks this week, or maybe it's just the fact that Kambosos is here, it looks like he's angling towards that. But we'll see. A lot of times, it's up in the air and it's up for discussion. The Bell Entertainment has no contract with any television, so Kambosos could go one way or the other. So it's going to depend really on the bidding.
It took us a little bit to have a podcast because we were on the road for Thanksgiving. We were just in Dallas for Triad Combat.
Happy belated birthday as well.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I'm getting old. I don't celebrate anymore.
Can't blame you. The older you get, the less you want to celebrate.
The less exciting it is.
I was so excited, though, because part of the, there's a Metallica concert. You got this first of its kind MMA versus boxing. Let's get into that. Triad Combat. But I caught Errol Spence. And we were at the fight with Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. And I was...
At the Triad fight?
He was there a week later. He was at the Triad fight. And he was also in Vegas the week before for the Bud Crawford and Shawn Porter fight. He walked out, didn't speak to anybody at the immediate aftermath of that. So I caught him, and I was able to get a couple questions in on him. And I was asking him, hey, because every time I feel like you bring up Bud Crawford's name, kind of like shies away and kind of leaves us at. But I asked him what his thoughts are that he pretty much left Top Rank on the spot, standing on stage or sitting on stage right next to Bob Arum. He says, hey, go get that money, and, kind of left right there and didn't really much react to that, and kind of felt like Shawn Porter had checked out before he even stepped in the ring that night. He kind of felt the retirement was already on the horizon. That's the sense I got from that interview.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to take it. I thought Porter fought, relatively hungry. I thought he was in attack mode. Crawford was the better fighter. I don't necessarily, I don't really have a lot of criticism for Porter. I thought he was, he went for it. He just, Crawford was a better fighter. It's difficult to assess Crawford and Spence right now because Spence is overcoming the retina surgery and whatnot. You don't know how he's going to come back from that. There's a lot of discussions, but not a lot of answers. So I don't know how to take that. I don't even know if the fight's as exciting as it was maybe a year or two ago. That's the problem with boxing, man. They don't make these fights, and now I for sure am not as excited about it anymore as I was before. I'd watch it, but I don't think it's as talked about as it was before.
Well, Shawn Porter's dad, Kenny, got a bit of criticism after the fight for just kind of what he said. What do you make of his comments?
I think that's a discussion they had to have in-house, and I'm sure they had that before and after. I give them credit for not airing out their dirty laundry. I think you're very tempted to air out your dirty laundry in that situation. It seemed like they were on the verge of it, but then they kept it in-house. It's father-son relationships can be beautiful, but they can also be complicated in boxing. I wouldn't know, but that's what I've observed in the various father-son relationships I've seen in my life in boxing. I don't really have a comment on it. I think that, the thing that impressed me the most was that they were able to keep it in-house. I'm sure there were some disagreements there, and I'm sure they needed to be assessed, and I'm sure they did assess them. But the fact they were able to keep that dirty laundry in-house, to me, I give them a lot of credit, because the temptation to go one way or the other, you're being tempted by media interviews, you're being tempted by social media, you're being tempted by rumors, you're being tempted by message boards. People want answers. People want to hear it from one way or the other. And instead, Shawn just kind of bowed out and said, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. It's possible that Shawn realizes there is a big disagreement with his father, and if he's going to go forward fighting, it may have to be without his father, and he doesn't want to do that. It's possible. That's kind of how I took it. And if that's the case, that's a lot of respect to Shawn, because you don't always see that. They have a good bond there, despite the disagreements. maybe something that they still might be disagreeing about right now. But I give them credit and give them respect for not airing out that dirty laundry.
Did you see them there today at the weigh-ins?
I saw them. I spoke to both of them separately, and I kind of assessed them. But they're grown men. It's like, the father-son relationships goes from the father to the boy's son. Now it's man to man. And so, this grown men can disagree and still love each other, and I think that's kind of where they're at. And it's possible that Shawn just would rather just bow out instead of going forward in a situation where he disagrees heavily with his father, but at the same time, he'd rather not also go forward with somebody else. So he said, I can't go this way. I can't go this way. I'd rather retire. And respect to him and credit to him because he's not telling us that. So we don't know for sure if that's what it is, Respect for him keeping the laundry in-house and the father too. And that's not easy to do.
Well, you were just talking about how Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, that fight isn't as intriguing as it was before. But if they were to fight now, who would you give the edge to?
I think Errol, coming off of surgery, wouldn't be a good idea to take on Crawford right now. I used to give the edge to Errol, but I think right now I give the edge to Crawford. But, we'll see. We'll see if it even plays out.
Who is the fight then for Crawford right now, or what is the move? He's a free agent. What makes sense?
I don't even know, man. Honestly, I really don't know. It's like you're kind of stuck. And that's the problem with all this weight class jumping. Like, people now have got accustomed to it, where it's like, okay, if there's not a fight in your weight class that interests you, you have to go up in a different weight class, and that's complicated. It's not that easy to do that. So, especially when a guy's already been a lightweight, he's too many weight classes to jump if you force him to do that. So, I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of welterweights, but I don't know that there's one that you're like, oh my goodness, this is the fight, Right now, Crawford is almost too good for his own good, that where, people are going to be interested in seeing him fight, but they're not going to be super, super interested in the way that where it's like, oh, this is a real threat to beat him, even if he's against a world-class fighter, I wouldn't mind seeing him against, somebody like a Danny Garcia or whatnot, name recognition, but it's just, people are going to know Crawford would be the heavy favorite.
How long are you going to keep the beard?
I don't know, man. I'll try to trim it a little bit. I'm going with the gray though. See, this is crazy.
What?
Well, you got to
get in a couple of grays here. It's getting bad. What's funny? People used to think I colored my beard when it was all black. When my hair's so black, but I'm too lazy to ever do that. I'm too I was like, are you out of here? And people are like, yeah, all right. I'm serious. But this is my real color. So now I'm getting a couple of grays. I'm not color. Imagine you color your beard. I mean, that thing grows constantly. How do you color? How does one go about that? You have to color a bunch of times a week. That's too much for me.
It's a lot of grooming. And I bring that up because today's podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. I missed No Shave Schmovember, Lawnmower 4.0. Really good razor, real clean right here. If you need a shave, if you need to do that, they got the ball wash. They got everything.
That's a nice one.
Daily needs.
It's the whole thing. Tell them to send me a package.
The whole thing. We'll get you a package. The weed whacker right there for the nose hairs. I mean,
look at
the
this.
crop preserver
this is
right there.
a full grooming kit.
A full grooming kit. They got everything for the bathroom, the essential needs to keep your balls happy. That's what it's all about.
This is what I need. Yes, this is what I need. Especially on the road all the time. You know what I'm saying? You sometimes you skip the whole grooming part.
100%.
Look at me. I'm coming off the plane. I'm a mess. I could have used one of these.
We got to
tell them to send me one.
20% off. Use the promo code Schmo, manscaped.com. And we got to send one to Paulie Malignaggi.
Yes. I'm down for this.
Got to get that done. When you come to Vegas, what's the go-to move for you? You've been here enough times.
I don't know, man. I'm here so much more for work than anything else. It's just become I've gotten so used to it that the go-to is usually start to work first, and then later in the week is when you have more fun. Of course, this time I'm showing up late in the week already, so we're supposed to do some partying tonight, but I don't know, man.
Where?
I'm not Zook or whatever. Zook, whatever this place in World Resorts Casino.
That's what Shawn just my buddies and his girlfriend. Yeah, that's where they're at right now.
Yeah. But man, I need to sleep first.
The city you don't sleep.
I'm banged up. I got in so early. I'm banged up. I got up at 5 a.m. East Coast time, which means that's 2 a.m. West Coast time.
Our time.
So we're gonna go almost on 24 hours here. I gotta get a nap in before I go out tonight.
How'd you not sleep last night?
I mean, I went to sleep at 1 o'clock, and then I had to get up at 5. So which means 5 New York time, or Florida time, because I was in Florida, is 2 Vegas time. So technically, I'm in Vegas. I've been up since 2 a.m. your time, you know?
Wow.
So.
But it's good to see you here more, because you were just here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. You guys have all the fights. What are we going to do? We got to come for the fights, right?
Well, the fights are also in Florida, too. I mean, if
we're
MMA,
doing more,
bare
we're
knuckle,
doing more fights in Florida. That's part of why Florida is getting more popularity.
We're going to be there December 18th, the Jake Paul-Tommy Fury fight.
Oh, it's in Florida, too?
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
And I'm working.
You're
the
working
17th.
Yeah.
BYB.
Where's that fight at?
Miami.
That's
James
in
Knight
Florida,
Center.
too?
Yeah, look at that. Boom.
Wow.
How far is the drive between Miami and Tampa?
hours.
We're gonna rent a car, and I think we're gonna pull it off. We're gonna do that. I think Khabib's doing like a media thing for his Eagle fighting promotion
When is that?
in Miami. I think it's around the 15th, December 15th.
Oh, man, so this is just like a crazy week then.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just got to do it.
We
That's it.
100%.
So I'll see you there. I'll see you there. It's a date. It's a date. We'll see you there.
We love the Paulie dates.
Let's do it. I'm there.
That's
And
good.
use a like BYB too. BYB is a lot of action, a lot of fun.
What about the day after? Jake Paul or Tommy Fury?
You know, for me, it's a 50-50 fight.
Me too.
It's
Everybody
tough.
makes like Jake's fighting a boxer. Why? Because Tommy Fury had boxing matches. He's not. He's just as much of a boxer as Jake is. He's not. He's got the Fury name, but it's not like he had the amateur career and the pedigree that his family has. Tommy's a reality guy who went boxing. Jake is a reality guy who went boxing. It's not really a boxer versus a reality guy. It's 2 reality guys that decided to box. It's just because the Fury name is involved doesn't mean he's actually a boxer. I thought he was a boxer. Don't get me wrong. They fooled me too.
How did they fool you?
Because I thought he got the Fury name. He's got the boxing pedigree like the rest of the Fury family, you know. But then I watched them fight, and I'm like,
Which fight?
this guy's not a boxer.
Which fight?
On the
Anthony Taylor fight?
Yeah, the last fight.
Was that the only fight you watched of him?
Yeah.
See, because
But I can tell when somebody's comfortable, like, you know, in their stance. I can tell when somebody has a lot of experience. I can tell when somebody's got a pedigree, you know, no matter what. I can see he just looked like a guy who hasn't been boxing in a long time. He looked like, you know, like Jake does. Jake looks like a guy who hasn't been boxing in a long time. So, I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, this guy's not a boxer. And then you start hearing about this, what is Love Island or whatever he has. So I'm like, that makes sense. Good-looking guy, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, it's like, all right, he's a reality TV guy who's boxes. He just happens to be related to Fury.
Well, do you buy into the narrative? Because Anthony Taylor, he doesn't have, he's not a traditional boxer. He's an MMA fighter. And Tommy Fury, I've recently heard him say this. I don't remember where I heard him say this, but he said, look, he did this on purpose in the way that he knew this was business. He didn't want to show off all of his skills. He knew he just had to go in there, get the win, and the bigger prize was to fight Jake Paul. That he's kind of duped him into thinking that he's not that great of a boxer. He didn't perform too well against Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor is a sparring partner of Jake Paul. Obviously, he's an MMA guy. He didn't look good against him. You're 100% right. But he purposely did certain things in that fight and didn't act a certain way because he thought the bigger prize would be Jake Paul. Do you believe that at all? Or do you think he's just messing and he didn't just perform well at all?
No. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, no. I can tell when somebody's good and they're taking it easy and when somebody doesn't know what they're doing. And Tommy is the latter, you know. But, you know, he's got Tyson, his brother, not helping him in camp and stuff like that. So I do think it's an extra weapon.
And his dad.
Yeah, I mean,
Shawn.
I do think now with this training camp, the family has gotten involved, and I think that can only help. But to me, it's just as much of a help as Jake has every camp with BJ Flores training him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of the same thing, you know? Mentally, from a psychological perspective, it's nice to have Tyson there, supporting and helping him train. And I think he's going to, you know, come with a bit more motivation. But technically speaking, once the bell rings on fight night, your experience is really important because there's all those intangibles involved on fight night, nerves and all that other stuff. And the lack of experience comes to the forefront once again. And what I'm saying with experience is, you know, your decision-making in key crucial spots. You know, they had us thinking Jake Paul was sparring with these championship fighters, and so he was becoming like what he was, you know? So you start to create an image of yourself. Then when the heat is on fight night, Jake Paul didn't look that good at all. You know what I'm saying? He won the fight, but he didn't look that good at all. So it's the same thing with Tommy. At the end of the day, you can have your brother helping you train. You can do all this stuff. maybe you don't even raise your level in camp. But on fight night, when the pressure's on, if the fight gets tough and hard decisions are to be made in certain crucial spots, you know, key decisions, like something simple like, do you throw right hand here or do you step over? You know what I'm saying? Like something stupid like that may seem stupid. An experienced fighter kind of takes it in stride and understands how to do it. An inexperienced fighter makes the wrong move. You know what I'm saying? He steps in instead of stepping out, or clenches, or fights and throws a punch instead of clenches. Or it's little things that I can tell as a fighter with experience, how a fighter with experience would react and wouldn't react. And on fight night, they're both going to be in the same boat, really. You know, they're both reality guys who are boxing. So it's a 50-50 fight.
So how would you classify events like that? Because it's like, so you said there are like reality guys who box, and then what? Frank Gore is also on that card.
Yeah, you got Frank Gore against Darren Williams.
Frank Gore, the NFL running back.
Yeah, future NFL Hall of Famer.
I saw Frank Gore at the Boo Andrade versus Liam Williams fight.
Did you talk to him?
You know, I didn't even, like, I was walking out and he's like, yo, Paulie, what's up, bro? Frank Gore. And I'm like, oh, man, what's going on? You know, like, I was random. Like, we were like walking out of the Hard Rock at the same time. So we spoke like 2 seconds, you know, like he's like, what do you think? But he, you know, I was kind of on my way out, you know, so like I didn't get a chance to really have a good conversation with him. I didn't even know he was training for a fight. You know?
Fighting former NBA All-Star Darren Williams. You got
Deron
Williams
from the Nets.
Yeah.
Yes. Pro Bowler versus All-Star.
And Deron was a big boxing fan. I remember Deron when he was at the Nets. He was big with the Brooklyn boxing at Barclays Center and whatnot. But that's another one. I had no clue he was boxing.
So he's training. So shout out to Saif Sahoud, Fortis MMA. He's a part owner. Him and Saif are in business together.
Crazy.
Been training there in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
This is heavy because Deron's from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
This is heavy.
Well, he played a lot in Dallas, too. He played with Dirk Nowitzki.
And then he went to Cleveland, right?
At the end of the career, he's in Cleveland,
This is heavy. This is a lot to take in right now. Especially that I'm like jet
Let
lag,
him
too.
digest it.
This is like...
I can't wait to interview these guys.
Yeah, this is wild. And how are they taking it? Are they talking trash?
Not really. It's more respectful.
Much, yeah.
And you know, Deron. Did I say Darren? You're right.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
is
Deron.
Yeah.
He's got inches on him.
Yeah,
Like at
Deron's
least 3.
taller.
It's
Yeah,
like 6'3", 6'4".
I seen
Frank's
both of
like
them now because I
5'10".
saw Frank when I was leaving the Hard Rock, and I seen Deron several times when I was in Brooklyn. Deron's tall.
See, I thought it was weird when I saw Frank Gore in Cleveland at the Jake Paul Tyron Woodley fight. I'm like, what is Frank Gore doing here? And then I knew, he wants to get into boxing.
This is just like a separate league being created here.
It's
That's why I wanted to ask you, what would you classify
MVP promotions.
We'll call it VIP boxing, and then just boxing. I guess, you know.
Well, Jake Paul calls it most valuable promotions. That's his promotion company.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess you can call it most valuable. I mean, it's like the VIPs, you know, because they're not technically boxers. You're not gonna see the savvy decision making when those guys are fighting inside the ring, you know, because there's a veteran fighter knows how to make savvy decisions in key crucial spots that. I know probably the naked eye, the layman may not catch, but I catch right away. You know, that's why I could tell you that. You know, Tommy, I saw him fight, and I was like, this guy's not a boxer. You know, I can tell that right away. You're gonna see that, no matter how many lessons you've had in boxing, if you start boxing very late, especially that late as these guys, it's pretty much gonna be VIP boxing. You know, and that doesn't mean it's not gonna be fun. But it's going to be limited. Sometimes limited makes it more fun.
But the hope for all this, and if you're Eddie Hearn, the guy who took a chance in bringing YouTube boxing to this, you're bringing a whole new audience of people that
you're
wouldn't
definitely
be tuning
bringing
in.
a new audience.
I just hope it sticks for the sport of boxing.
I saw, for the Jake Paul fight versus Woodley card, I saw a filled arena for the undercard, which in boxing is rare. And to go demographic wise, I hadn't seen so many white people at a crowd in a boxing match in a long time. You know, like you're bringing a demographic that kind of had left your sport for MMA for various reasons, and I think it's crucial that you bring them back because they're a big demographic. And I thought I was very impressed by that with Jake being able to do that.
And it brought to the forefront a guy like Montana Love, who's now signed with Matchroom Boxing, is now the
that kid can fight. That kid can fight.
Yeah.
I was very impressive. I was very impressed with the way he handled Baranchuk. You know, that was a nice step up for him and very, very impressive performance. And he's earned the right to bring his French bulldog to the weigh-in today. That was interesting too.
David's a dog person.
Nice.
Yeah, my parents like getting rescue dogs, so I just love dogs.
I like animals. I'm just never home to take care of them, but I like everybody else's
That's why
pets.
we don't have a pet.
Have you ever
too.
had a pet?
No, I had a
Me
turtle when I
neither.
was a kid, but it didn't. I didn't do a good job with it, so I just kind of released it back in the wild.
Yeah, I used to have fish, but they jump out of the tank and then die.
Yeah, they do,
Do you
suicide
count
missions.
fish? Do you count fish as a pet?
I mean, you got to clean the tank.
Did you clean
That's
the
a
tank?
responsibility. Yeah, that's a responsibility in the tank. It's funny. I got a funny story about fish. My grandfather, who's he's born in 1937. He's a Sicilian immigrant. He's kind of a little loopy. So, and he's very, very those kind of old school. He's born like during the war. So those kind of people, those kind of immigrants that are a little bit loopy. So he's a character. He's always been a character. And he got a gift, a fish tank full of fish. Right. The problem was some of them were fighter fish. So you can't put those together with each other. So he got all excited about this fish tank. It's beautiful. It's this and that. First night he had to wakes up in the morning for work. He was still like in his 50s. One of them's floating dead. He's like, man, one of them's dead. He takes another thing. The next morning, another one's dead. There was about 6 of them. Now there's 4. Now the second morning he's like, all right, one of these fish thinks he's a gangster. He's like, he keeps complaining, like, I'm going to find out who thinks he's a gangster. Every morning he's waking up and find another one dead. Got to the point where there was 2 left. The last remaining fish is dead now. The last remaining fish is in there. My grandfather, old school Sicilian, takes the wooden spoon and tries to beat the fish with the wooden spoon. And the fish is going back and forth. And my grandmother's yelling at him, like, you're making a mess with the splash of water. And he's like, this fish thinks it's a gangster in my house. I'm going to get me down. The fish is going, shoo, shoo, shoo. You had to be there to see it. But that was the fish story in my house. Needless to say, my grandfather ejected him from the house. He gave away the tank with the fish. He didn't want him in the house.
Oh, the fish survived.
The one surviving fish. Because I guess he blamed all the other deaths on that one. Who knows if the other one's maybe ganged up on the other. But since there was one left, he got the blame for all the other dead fish. And he was ejected. Or evicted. So that was the tank lasted about a week in that house.
Well, at least you didn't have to pay rent, right?
No, that's it. Nothing. But in Sicilians, the wooden spoon is something you fear. So he wanted to make the fish fear the wooden spoon too. So that's the pet story in my house. But I do like animals. I just I'm never around to actually take care of them. So I like everybody else's pets instead. I like cats too. Cats are funny.
You like cats?
Yeah, I like all animals.
But I feel like I like
Cats are
cats too.
hilarious.
They always try to scratch me.
Nah, you got to put them in their place, But they're hilarious though because I like the mentality like they think you just live among them. Like pets know they're subversive. Cats just feel like you're just in the kingdom with them, They just kind of live there, So they're funny, but they're so athletic. I love it. Like I love messing with cats. Like my grandmother had cats when I was a kid, so I would make like a little aluminum foil ball and throw it on the floor, and they would just fly, man, bang, 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 and just so athletic. It was such reflexes. It was always made me laugh. They get alert to anything. Anything that moves, they'll just be sitting there. Anything that moves, like, and that's it. They gotta catch it. So I don't know. Dogs are cute. I like the genuineness of animals. I'm an animal person. I just don't have the stay at home time to take care of them.
David loves watching animals eat each other. Like he watches that on Instagram.
I feel bad when I do that. Yeah, I feel bad. You know what I do? I do like the cool like predator fights. I don't like to watch like a deer get hunted or like a deer drinking.
He loves that. Yeah,
I don't like that because I feel like
I just can't look away.
Yeah, yeah. Some people like train wrecks. It's not a fair fight. But when I see like a python and an alligator, I was gonna recently. You know what I saw that I didn't even know?
What?
Panthers. Was it a panther? No, leopards. Leopards eat alligators. I didn't even know leopards
Yeah.
attack alligators.
Yeah.
A leopard can swim 1 mile. I didn't even know this.
I didn't know
And I
either.
saw a
I've seen
video.
it.
A leopard
It was
was
close
in
to
the
shore. It was close to shore.
He was swimming, and then he started fighting this alligator. Yo, he killed the alligator. I'm sure sometimes the leopard must lose. I mean, it can't be that the leopard beats the alligator every time. You ever think like alligators like dinosaurs? Think about it. Alligators like dinosaurs that survive.
They are the oldest living dinosaurs.
Yeah.
100%.
They're the dinosaurs that survive somehow.
They are.
But it's crazy. But speaking of alligators and pythons, like in Florida, there's a big problem with the Everglades because people release too many pythons into the wild, and now they've become the dominant predator over there. It's
Are
a big battle.
But I watch hippopotamus. They're the kingdom. They destroy
We
alligators
need some
and
hippos
crocodiles.
in Florida to start chopping down the pythons too. Who would win, a python or a hippo? I've never seen that. You know what? You're gonna make me YouTube that now.
But you
If
know
they have a battle.
what's so rewarding? Sometimes you catch the underdogs winning too. Like there's a video out there, Battle of the Kruger, where oh my gosh,
And what happened?
oh
wins?
my gosh.
Who wins?
So there is this what is it called? Like a wildebeest.
Uh-huh.
It was a tug of war game between lions and crocodiles, where it was being tugged from both sides, and then the herd of wildebeest came back
And he got the free.
and they got him free.
Oh man.
It's like a 7-minute
Wow,
video. That's
how
what got
can
me
you-
hooked.
Why didn't you show me that one?
I watched that when I was in
like
college.
when they live. I kind of like when they live, you know?
Yeah.
Yo, one time I
Battle
saw
of the Kruger, YouTube
I saw
it.
one recently with the hyenas attacked the lioness.
Yeah.
And you saw that one?
I
And
did.
the lion, you saw that, and they were about to wreck her, and then the other lionesses came and just started cleaning house. Bang, 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 bang.
Lions and hyenas are like the oldest rivalries in that animal
They hunt
kingdom.
the same
yeah.
thing, and sometimes they hunt each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Hey,
crazy
the
because the
Lion
hyenas
King.
are such huge packs.
Yeah,
it's
the
like the Lion
hyenas
King.
strength
Yo,
in
they go back
numbers.
to the Lion King.
Yeah,
They
strength
go
in
back to the
numbers.
Lion
Yeah.
King. They do. They go back to
They knew what they were doing when they made that movie. I might have butchered the animal. I think it was a wildebeest or something. It wasn't an elephant.
It was one of those
It
that
was
it's
one
not
of those,
supposed
yeah.
to win, though.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to
Yeah.
win. But that's what it was.
What about
But-
the birds? You ever see the birds? Like sometimes, in Florida the other day, I saw a hawk flying and he had a fish in his claw. He was flying with a fish on him. I'm like, yo, it's nuts.
Wow.
And then
Were
like,
you at the beach?
no, he was I was on the highway. He must have caught it from the beach and he was flying, taking it back to the nest.
That's
He
kinda
was flying
cool.
with the fish on his hook. I'm like, yo. And another time, I saw a crab. You guys been to Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas Boulevard? It's like a strip of bars and restaurants, right?
Yeah, we met you. We've
Oh
interviewed
yeah,
you.
yeah.
beach.
So it's not that close to the beach. I mean, you definitely wouldn't think a crab was going to be on the street. I saw a crab like going on
On
the
the
street.
street.
It must have got dropped by a bird. A bird must have caught that guy, and then he got dropped. And the poor can I curse you? No.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But poor bastard probably, he got stuck on Las Olas Boulevard. He just walking, just crawling. And I'm like, this poor guy. So I went to a restaurant to get a cup. I wanted to put him in a cup and bring him to the beach. I came back here, I couldn't find him. Because I felt bad for him. Man, he's gonna dry up over there. This hot sun over there. He needs water.
Birds
I felt bad for him.
Birds are fucking ruthless, though. I've seen bird-on-bird action where they're just
Ew.
putting them pecking on them and killing
Yeah,
them.
I saw.
suffocating
You know what I
them.
did? I saw that at the beach. Again with a crab. This bird was like, trying to. He was like busting up. He was like pecking at a crab. He was pecking at a crab, and he finally like. He caught him. He had this big beak, and finally he broke him. He broke the crab. He broke the crab in two. I felt bad.
Oh
he broke
my
the crab, and
gosh.
then they eat it.
And one other species that they bring up too, which saddens me, it's polar bears. They're starving. So you know what they do when they run out of seals or anything?
They eat
They
each other?
They eat each other. They eat the
Oh,
cubs.
no.
Cannibalism.
That's like
Ew.
alligators. You ever heard the
Yeah.
crocodile tears? You eat the babies and the mother
seen
cries.
that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Sad world.
Yeah.
Sad. Wait, isn't it Florida where Tiger King was filmed? Was that Florida?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't know. I never watched Tiger King. Everybody talks about this.
Wow, you're
Oh.
probably one of the
Actually,
few who
so I will break the little bit of news here. You got to watch it. The Schmo might be interviewing.
Tiger King.
Oh, he's in jail.
Yeah,
Is he?
Joe Exotic.
So
yeah.
I missed everything then.
Yeah.
I missed the
Yeah.
show. The guy's
Wow.
in jail.
Well,
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. I
Who
might
is-
be interviewing Carol Baskin.
She's on Tiger King.
That
Yeah.
was her husband. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
so
no,
you-
Joe wasn't her
So,
husband.
that was her rival. That was
Yeah, her rival.
It's been a while.
Is it like
You-
Is it like
that was not her husband.
Is it?
Her husband said.
Oh. So, but she's on the show.
She's on the show.
Yeah, and
but
they're
she's the rival. Yeah.
So that's big for you because you're into all the animals too. So you
yeah,
have a lot of
she's,
questions.
she's one with the lions or the
Are
tigers.
you guys old enough to remember the Crocodile Hunter?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I think I was
He was
really
big
young.
on he was big on animals. Like this guy was like nuts. Like he really hunt them. He would just he loved animals. He would like get next to the alligator somehow.
Steve
like
Irwin?
put his head in there like in the alligator head.
No,
like,
I think that's someone else.
He
well,
was
I know Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Are you talking about Steve Irwin? Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
Australian.
Steve
Of
Irwin,
course,
yeah.
He
And
died
then
in a
the
stingray.
The stingrays
Stingray,
stabbed him.
yeah.
I heard his daughter is now doing what he did.
She
Yeah,
is. I
Bindi.
read
She
that
was so
recently.
cute when he passed away. I was
I
like, oh, this boy.
know.
Now I heard she's doing what he was doing before. But I don't see her. I don't see the crocodile huntress. I don't.
That's
I don't
true.
see her. But I heard she's
Netflix
doing
seems to
what
jump
he
on
was
it.
doing.
Yeah.
He was a character too.
Yeah.
He was, and not to go against the PC thing, but I remember I rented this video called Bum Fights years ago.
Bum Fights?
Bum Fights. It was like they pit like bums. They make like bums fight each other. They give them a couple of money and they make them attack each other or do funny things. And so one of these guys called himself the Bum Hunter, and he'd like go into into like bum areas where they were sleeping and like tie them up and then he'd like show you their teeth. I mean, he said he gave them money after. I don't know, but and he'd be like, and he'd put on the Australian accent and he'd be like, "This guy, look at the spaces on this one." And you see the bum like this, and he'd be showing you his teeth. I hate to say it. It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny because the crocodile hunter was still alive at that time, and he was super popular at that time. So this guy was a knockoff of the crocodile hunter, called himself the bum hunter, gave himself a fake Australian accent. He'd go in with his boys and like tie up a random bum and then like, look at the teeth on this one. What a specimen this one. This one uses these teeth to annihilate his prey. And this, meantime, the guy's got like one tooth and it's yellow. And he's like not even resisting. He's like,
Jeez,
it was bad. Yeah, I guess in 2021 it's bad, but in like 2004 it was kind of hilarious.
Is he still around?
The bum hunter? I don't know. I don't think they could probably make bum fights anymore because they probably, they probably wouldn't be allowed to.
They'd be canceled.
At that time, they give like two bums $50 each and say fight, and they'd record it. They just fight each other, or then they'd have like a segment called the Bum Hunter where he would do these things with bums. They have like different segments. It's kind of wild, but as usual, society kills all the fun. What are we gonna do?
You watch some wild shows.
Yeah. Oh, well, TV was actually fun at one time, believe it or not.
Yeah, and MTV played music.
MTV played music, and then who knew that Road Rules and Real World was going to ruin TV? Can you imagine?
Oh.
I remember when they started Road Rules and Real World.
Yeah, me too.
I watched MTV, and I never watched Road Rules and Real World because I could care less. I didn't care, but I liked the videos. Who knew that was going to take over MTV? You shouldn't even name it MTV anymore. Because it's not MTV anymore. It's reality TV. It's our TV now. Reality TV. That's it. You can't. It's got to be a hybrid, and you got to bring back MTV because you got to call that our TV. That's my. You guys.
He's
got me.
passionate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you fired up.
Yeah, man. The videos were great.
They were great. The music videos, and when Britney Spears, like.
Yeah, Britney Spears. Even before Britney Spears, I remember they had like MTV Jams in the early '90s when Bill Bellamy used to host, and then. You had like the Guns N' Roses videos. I remember the late '80s actually when like Michael Jackson had the videos and George Michael. It's good stuff.
Fuck it, I
Even
remember.
my mom used to watch it with me.
Even in the early 2000s, the first time I saw Linkin Park, it was a music
Linkin
video
Park.
on MTV.
They had a Total Request Live with Carson Daly.
Oh yeah,
I
TRL.
was on a plane with Carson Daly recently.
Oh wow.
He's the man. He was the man at that time. I remember it was right in Manhattan too. I never went though, of course, because it was all for two things New Yorkers didn't do: New Year's Eve ball drop was all tourists, and Total Request Live was all tourists, even though it was in. But I remember one time I walked by, I was in Times Square, and I saw the Total Request like crew over there. You know, it was like
that's cool.
They used to always have it, but it was cool. I used to watch it though. Yeah. It was cool with the videos and stuff. They ruined MTV. Absolutely butchered it. Absolutely ruined it.
What are you most looking forward to start the new year for you?
Well, I'm working with another company soon. Pro Box Promotions is a promotional company in Florida, and they have a lot of new ideas I can't get into, a lot of new things that they're doing, and I'm excited about some of the ideas Pro Box has come up with, concepts in boxing. I think, trying to do some new and different stuff. I think as the year goes on next year, you guys will see more and more of it from Pro Box, but I'm excited about starting up the venture with Pro Box next year. And of course, continue to work with BlueMoonFight.tv. I'm doing some work with Boxer in England if I were still able to travel there. They have Conn and Brook in February, which is a major UK fight, even though it's a bit past their primes. But if I'm allowed to travel to the UK, I'll be working that fight too. So, I'm just looking forward to staying busy if I can, if the communists don't take over and shut us all down, But that's my opinion of what's going on.
Will we see you back in the ring?
No, I don't think so. If I could just somehow get myself in shape without having to train, maybe. But man, training camp's so hard. Pizza's hard to stay away from, yes, but even more so, just doing the hard work every day of training, it's hard on my body, man. It's not easy to get through a training camp anymore. So I doubt it. I heavily doubt it.
Well, last thing for me, last time that we spoke, it was before the Canelo-Caleb Plant fight. Mm-hmm. So just want to get your thoughts on Canelo.
I thought he did a good job. I thought Caleb boxed in a savvy way, but I never thought he got out of like a second or third gear. On I thought he was a little bit too satisfied with just working on frustrating Canelo, and not enough on raising his level to another point. You know, I think you're going to confuse any opponent with that savvy, you know, ring generalship that Caleb has. But then a world-class opponent like Canelo eventually is going to come a point where he's going to figure that out. So you're going to have to, you know, try to step up your game a little bit, at least in spots, just to be threatening more so than just be confusing. And I don't think Caleb ever thought about being threatening. He just kind of was satisfied and happy to, you know, confuse him, make the fight competitive, but never actually go for the gusto. And, you know, eventually Canelo figured it out and knocked him out. I think Caleb could have shown a little more. Gave a satisfactory performance, did well. But I think maybe it was the $10 million purse. I don't know, but he was too satisfied to not get hurt in the end, you know, and just, you know, fought well, respectable performance. But I think Caleb could have given a little more as far as taking more chances. He didn't take enough chances for me at a certain point, because Canelo was always going to figure out the savvy stuff. So you would have had to show a couple of different gears in there, and Caleb never went to those gears.
Beginning of October, Kamaru Usman, welterweight champion, told me when we were in Denver, or told the Schmo, that he wants to see pound-for-pound best between Canelo and himself. Realistically, how many rounds, what chance would you give Kamaru Usman in a boxing match with Canelo? How long would he last, from what you've seen with his hands?
You know, listen, it's interesting. These kind of crossover fights, you know, they're interesting to say the least. People always talk about them. I don't give him any chance. Come on. I mean, I can't give him any chance. He's not in boxing, you know, and Usman's a terrific MMA fighter, but not in boxing. I can't.
Well, how quickly does Canelo put him away?
Well, that's the thing. Canelo has more of a killer instinct. Like, I felt like when it was Floyd and McGregor, Floyd was just kind of playing with him, you know, and Floyd doesn't have that killer instinct to get you out of there right away. Canelo kind of does, you know. Canelo will break you in half with a body shot, you know, if you don't know how to defend. So you know, Usman will try. I think Usman has pride, and he's got a championship pedigree, but I don't think it would go 5-6 rounds. I think Canelo would, you know, and it would be a bad knockout too. I think because Canelo is very deceptive in the way he sets up those left hooks to it. It would, and if you don't have that kind of experience and understanding that, it's one thing to see it on TV. It's another thing when you're seeing it in front of you. I don't think it would be a pretty end for Usman in that fight.
Well, we know you're jet lagged.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on the Schmozone.
I'm happy to finally get on the show with you guys as well.
Next time we do it, we'll do it longer, though, when you're not jet lagged.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think you inspired us to put a coffee machine in our.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Espresso.
And next time I'll be groomed with my Manscaped as well.
Yeah, well, speaking of
I'll
that,
be more,
because David's so proud of his mustache, which you probably can't even see on camera.
You know what? Now I'm noticing it. Now that you say it, you know.
But I'm looking at yours, and then I look at his, and I'm like, Paulie.
Yeah, but he works his. You see, that's mine. I just I'm too lazy.
I just feel like the Schmo having a stash would add something extra to the character.
Ask him to shave. He won't listen to me.
Well, the thing is, it's not. I consider a mustache only when there's no beard. If there's a beard, then it's just a beard. You know.
Yeah.
So you have a mustache, but it's with the beard. You have the beard here. For me to consider that a mustache, you'd have to be clean shaven here, and then you have a mustache. I don't consider anybody with facial hair and also a mustache to have a mustache. Well, like to me, if somebody has a mustache, it's they shaved everything else and they left the stash, or they cleaned up the stash.
He's stroking my pride, because normally I'd have to shave every other week, but I shaved literally a day and a half ago, and it's already grown in.
Yeah, that's part of being a grown man.
I'm becoming a man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Slowly.
So if you shave all this and you left the mustache, then I'd say, okay, Schmo has a mustache going, and it'd be more noticeable too. I hadn't even noticed it because I didn't notice it. No, because he's got hair underneath his chin, so I didn't notice it. If you're clean shaven though, now the eyes go right to the mustache. I can tell when somebody has a mustache when they're clean shaven and boom, mustache. But you're not clean shaven. You got some coming out of off your chin. You know, you got a beard. So I wouldn't have noticed the mustache. If you clean shave, you'll be a mustache guy. Right? But right now you're a beard guy.
When we get home later today, I'm gonna shave.
You're gonna use your Manscaped.
I'm gonna Manscape.
Or should he just dye it?
I mean, now we're getting really creative, but that's a lot of work. Again, this is what I don't want to get into. You know, like I will not get into all this. You know, like, but I do feel like I could probably trim a little better. But I'm never gonna be the guy to like color it and shave. I actually worry about what happens when I go more gray. Like it's gonna be a problem. I don't want to do all that work. I can't do that work. I can't.
Every time we see you, you're looking younger and younger.
I know.
That's why I didn't even like. She had to point you out today. I didn't even like recognize you.
Unfortunately. Getting older and older, guys. I just turned 41, man. It's crazy.
You don't look a day older than 35.
No, look a day older 40. I don't know.
Genetics?
Yeah, probably genetics.
Yeah, your skin's smooth.
Yeah.
Sicilian.
And I've been cut. If my eyes would just have less scars, maybe I'd look even better. But you know what? The problem I'm starting to notice is all the stitches that I had. Now it's like, as I get older, it kind of like that skin is starting to look like a little bit beat up over my eyes.
Well, you were blessed with the goat with bare knuckles, so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he added more stitches to the already tons of stitches I had.
But you didn't look like Jason Knight after the fight.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get hit, really. I still people, I know MMA fans can't really come to full grips and comprehend that. But bare knuckle, the thing is, when shots graze you, skin rips open worse.
You didn't get the Magic Man nickname from nothing.
Yeah. I somehow managed to barely get hit and still wind up that kind of cut, huh? Now that's magic.
Paulie Malignaggi, everybody. Episode 86 of the Schmozone podcast. We are out.